We can start now.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to fourth day of 21-day mindfulness session, Mindfulness: The Journey to Greatness by Institute Wellness Group and Reiki Center of Excellence for the Science of Happiness, IIT Kharagpur. So, let us start the session by inviting our teacher, Saamdu Chetri, sir, to start it.
Thank you, Soumya. Thank you, everyone who has come to attend today, the session. I hope you will all enjoy very much. Can you find a comfortable position for yourself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me try to share this. And just listen to your breathing, float with the breathing for the moment. Like this wind that you see. Close your eyes. Scan your body from toe to head. See if you are uneasy somewhere or stressed somewhere or feeling uncomfortable. Just be aware and say relax to that part of the body. Bring your mind to your heart and see how the heart is doing. Just arise love in the heart, joy. Take your mind to your head. Be aware of your thoughts that are arising. Ask the thoughts to gently go away and bring calmness, peace, and joy in your mind. Okay, friends, let's begin today's journey. Like I said that every day I'll try to remind you of your duties every morning. This reminder will go up to tomorrow, and after that I will not do anymore. Please, I don't know if you did this last evening, whether you repeated your intentions of the day, whether you did practice noble silence, whether you scanned your body on the bed or not. Because scanning the body means it's not only to sleep, but scanning the body has much more powerful event in our life. Because our mind connects with the body, what happens is we take attention of our body, every cell in our body, and that they become happy, the cells become happy because your mind is attending to them. When that happens, they fortify us with all the immunity possible in our body system. So scanning the body is a very powerful mechanism to remain well and happy all the time in our day-to-day life. All right? Waking in the morning, did you send your gratitude to the universe? Did you pick your intentions rightly? Did you rehearse your mindfulness meditation on the bed? Did you go out and make your self-affirmations in the visible spaces? Did you do a mindful drinking of the tea, mindful drinking of the water? If you want to drink a cup of water and you just go down to the water and say, please come into me with love, affection, I love you. You pick the water and drink, it'll have a different taste. You'll feel great. It'll rejuvenate you. Just speak to the water with loving words, loving kindness. And when you drink tea, first thing is you hold it, bring to your nose and smell the aroma of the tea and look at it. Look at it and try to see the clouds in this, because This is water, rain, and everything starts from the rain, the water. See the sugar cane farm, the factory. See the cows if you're drinking tea with milk in the field. See people working. See the person who prepared this tea. Take a sip, roll it in your mouth, and gently swallow. It will rejuvenate you. It will bring totally a new meaning in your lives, because when you are grateful, you are in abundance, my friends. So being grateful is a powerful way of becoming great in life. So all this, when you do everything with your mind in it, it's called mindfulness. If you take the journey of mindfulness, you will always have enough space in your brains to do something wonderful. I don't know if you're practicing this. If you're jogging, if you concentrate only on the jogging, slowly there will be thoughts that will arise in your mind. And if they are good thoughts, try to just keep them as you jog. And you realize that these thoughts are going to bring volumes of information to you of your realization that will carry you to the next level of whatever those thoughts are. So it's a great process, my dear friends. Do believe in this and do practice, because tomorrow will be my last day that I'll come back with this, and after that I will not. Okay, let's begin with our intention of the day. So every morning you have to keep an intention. All right, I'm trying to pick examples for you. It depends what you want to prove yourself in the day. Now, when you take one intention and try to multiply this intention 45 minutes in the meditation every day over a period of 21 days, 45 minutes every day over a period of 21 days, I tell you, I'll guarantee you in writing that you will transform completely according to the intentions that you have brought into your mind. Okay, that those intentions that you play in your mind is going to transform you completely. You're going to be completely a new person altogether in your life. And this is enough research that's been done. You can Google and go for it if you want to see whether what I'm talking is right or wrong. Okay, so let's get, because our today's intention is to listen with an intent to understand and not reply. All right. So when we listen, what happens is we start to form many things in our mind, and then we speak. But here we will try to learn from today, this evening, until tomorrow we meet again. You will learn to listen. Whoever is talking, whatever they are talking, you're not going to form any ideas in your mind. You're just listening, okay? With the intention not to reply. That's the intention, that you need to listen to the person who is speaking. Now let's try and understand a bit about the power of our listening. What happens is often we have this problem of autobiographical responses, which means that from our own reference, from our own personal reference, personal ideas, experience, and motive, we start to listen. All right. So something that touches your heart, like you would deeply listen to a big sage, or I don't know, Sadhguru or Sri Sri, or I don't know, Dalai Lama, or maybe somebody very big, a figure comes to you, then you will give every ears to them. Now, for example, if your friend comes, you know that friend very deeply. What happens? You expect something. When a friend starts to speak, your expectation goes along with how you have understood your friend and what reference have you built around him or her. And you're going to listen to those that are in your mind, not outside of your mind. So it's called autobiographical responses. This is interpreting from your own idea, own frame of mind, own experience, your own motive to get things rolled. And often in this kind of listening, what do we do? And this listening happens, let me tell you, this listening happens between wife and husband. And that's why you may have realized that it's only few parents who may not fight because they have understood the meaning of communication. Communication is such an important thing that we often fail. We continue to fail. We continue to fail. Even a realized person sometimes fails. Like Sadhguru one day said, I also get angry and I, of course, make people face the wrath. So it is possible that anyone can get angry. The anger could be of different types. Sadhguru's angry is to change, transform somebody, not to fire or get angry on and scold and do things like that. But the anger that we often have is fighting anger. Right? So what we do generally, if it is a friend who has come with some problem and you know that person, you're going to start to advise immediately. You'll start to counsel, oh, aisa nahi karna chahiye tha. Why did you do this? You should have done this way. You should have waited for it. You should not have done that. So those kind of solutions we start to give. And that friend probably only wants to share. You only need to listen. And this is what happens. When husband comes home and starts to talk, when wife starts to talk something, he feels very tired and doesn't want to listen. And if she's also working, comes back and tells him, look, today this happened with my friend, he would immediately say, oh, why did you have to fight? You just could have left it. Now that is not what she wants. She just wants you to listen. So often we fail there because we don't understand. You think about yourself when you are speaking. If somebody doesn't listen to you, what happens to you? You break, you get angry, you get frustrated. Why is this person not listening to me? Why is he not understanding me? Same thing. You also need to understand the other person. What we do, we also start probing. We start asking questions from our mind reference, from our own experience of knowing that person. We start to probe and make the person more irritated, more frustrated. Then we do start to interpret, explaining from your motive, the behavior, the experience that you have brought around and with from your own perspective of the people, trying to figure out, So all this, when you have an autobiographical responses, this is what you do. You start advising, you start probing, you start interpreting, not understanding, but interpreting. The person might want to say something else, but you are interpreting something else, all right? Then you start to evaluate and judge the person. My friend is not good enough. Or your husband judging the wife, oh, she's not good enough. He's not realizing that she's brought life to so many at home. She's cooking, she's doing everything. If we had to pay her, we can never pay a woman who works at home. You can never pay, I tell you. It's impossible. But we can listen to her. We can give our ears to her. Or him. It can be either way. Then all the problem, all the happiness will come. It'll come to us. It's because of this we don't have happiness with us. Because we start to judge, we start to disagree or agree on something totally wrong. And then we make the person happy, just misleading that person altogether. So what we need to do is we need to learn to listen empathically, which means we need to step into the shoe of the person and listen word by word. If we don't understand, then we need to repeat in a very helpful language, actually. You need to say, did I hear this? So you're prompting to say, if you heard right, the person would confirm yes, or will again repeat what the person has to say. So that's the only interference you can do in empathic listening. Otherwise, you completely try to listen until the person finishes speaking. In the world of Red Indians, when they sat around for discussion, in a circle, they would sit around in a circle and the chief would start speaking. So he would speak, he would hold a stick like this. You don't see the stick, but I have a stick, a small stick in my hand. So he would hold a stick and then he would speak. Once he finished, he gives the stick to the next person. And everybody just listens, no questions, no arguments, unless you want to clarify. That's the only time you can ask, but ask with great amount of politeness, right words, positive words. Right words are positive words, okay? And then it'll pass on like this until it comes back to the chief again. So that is listening. After that, you start to interpret what you have heard together. The chief starts to translate everything and see if everyone is within the agreement or not. It's a very powerful way of taking decisions in life. We need to listen. And if you listen, if somebody listens, what happens is you listen at a very high level, and that takes you to form totally a new path, new journey in your life, right? Much higher way, not your way, not my way, but much higher and taller way that we can create just by listening. And I promise you, listening is the basic need for happiness. We have to learn to listen. Now, the signs that are taken is also when you are the reading signs about when a person is delivering something. 7% is through the research goes to the words we use. Okay, negative, positive words, the words that we form. This is only 7%. Look, 55% of the delivery goes into facial expression and your body language. Sometimes you tie your hand around, or you just go down, or just sit with your hand on the thing. These are all signs of not being interested. Okay, even the eyes, the movement, the dilation of the eyes can also lead us to show our posture, our things that try to speak to you. And it'll tell you whether the person is talking to you in interest, or is, kind of, if someone is speaking and I just turn away, that means I'm not interested. Or I change, I frown, my mind, I get I frown. That means I'm not happy. So all these come. So we need to be very careful. And 38% of the whole delivery actually goes to the words that we use, the tone we have, the voice we use, the style that we use to discuss. This is very important thing in life. You must all learn, my friends. If you want to be successful and go beyond that to be great people, these are some of the areas that we have to embed. We have to learn to be great human beings. Helpful languages, which are positive languages that you can use, is you must have felt. Now, when someone is talking, feeling very miserable, you can say, oh, you must have felt very awful. That show that in your expression and in your words. You can say, oh, you sound very awful. I wish that I could share your pains. And if you want to understand better, you say, what I'm hearing is this what your friend told you, or somebody talked to you like this? All this kind of positive language we need to bring, all right? Okay. Now, deep listening and loving speech. Who do this? To communicate effectively, we must first understand each other. Now, if someone is speaking, I speak in between, we will never understand. Never understand. And this is the journey. We must have an intent to listen before we reply. So, if you hear many great people, when you are asked suddenly, can you now give your view? That person will not say, you immediately start to speak. You'll say, can you give me some time? I'm still observing. I'm still digesting. Like the previous director, whenever we asked, he would hear something and we asked him on a webinar, he would say, can you give me a little time? These are the signs of great leaders, because they put their full attention in listening, and then slowly, then they will prepare themselves to what is right. So we seek to understand from others' perspective. We don't try to use our preformed ideas, our motive, our frame of mind, that we have understood the person so very well that we decide everything for him or her. No, we pick ourselves into the shoe of that person and listen from the perspective of the other person. We have to learn to learn, listen very empathically, with passion, with compassion, with empathy in your mind, and we should only diagnose and we should only prescribe after listening everything that comes out from that person. Imagine you go to the hospital and the doctor looks at you and says, "Kya hua, beta? Sar mein dard hai. ठीक है, ये paracetamol खाओ." थक 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 लिख के दे दिया. How would you feel, my friends? You'd feel miserable, isn't it? He's not trying to find out your deeper problem. He just asked you what your problem. You said headache. Now you could not even explain how you were getting that headache, and you will prescribe something. How would you feel? It's exactly the same when you don't listen completely and start to give your autobiographical responses. Then that person begins to suffer at a much deeper level. All right. And then there is fight all the time. Remember, there's always unhappiness and fight, always quarrel and fight. It's an absolute truth. So deep listening is an important area. Use positive language. Here I've given some example. Sometimes I say, oh, you go to somebody's house and say, what would you like to drink? Oh, I need coffee. That's a very bad language. I need coffee. You could say, I prefer coffee. What would you like to drink? I need coffee. No, I prefer coffee. Beautiful. You could say, I must help you. That really brings that person down, because that person will think, oh, she or he thinks that I'm nobody, useless. She says, she must help me, or he must help me. No, instead of that, you could say, I choose to help you. See, instead of I must, you can say I want to. So in the formulation, in the language, is everything hidden, my friends. Okay, so person who uses a reactive language actually can brainwash themselves, and they become responsible for who they are. They'll be, I tell you, these people who always carry negative thinking, it becomes into a neuropath, neuroplasticity. When you carry same word over and over and over and over again for 21 hours, if that word has played in your mind, it'll reside there forever, unless you practice to rewind that, to close that chapter and bring a new neuropath again. You cannot destroy that. You can close it, but it is still there. But you can create a new neuropath again with positive word. So you are responsible for this. If there are negative people, that was a question often asked to me, and here some of you also ask this question. If someone is negative, can that negative come to me, or can he or she destroy me negatively? Yes, if the person is close by and you are aligning yourself with that person, then you get it. Now, when he speaks bad word or she speaks bad word, and you take those bad words in you, you're going to be affected. Your vibration, your frequency is going to be affected. And then when you hear again and again the same thing over and over again, then of course you fall victim to it, my friends. So please choose positive language, and that positive language is going to change your situation completely. It's going to bring you to a new yourself, to be a very understanding human being. You learn to reason better. After reasoning, you will get into a better scope of love. Because when you learn to reason, the next stage is love. It's only love in abundance. Then you get into joy, because when there's love around you, then you get into joy. When there's joy around you, you are in peace. And once you are in peace, my dear friends, getting into happiness, the top enlightenment is not far away. So that is a frequency above 650 Hz, all right? And we can all reach there. Okay, my friends, let's take this meditative practice now. Please find a comfortable position again. And I will call the bell. Um, as you listen to the bell, sit comfortably with your eyes drooped or closed, eyes dropped or closed, your back straight, chin slightly tucked in without the stress on the neck, of course. Legs grounded if you're sitting on a chair, or knees grounded if you're sitting on a high cushion. Tongue lightly touching the upper palate. Feel the palate with your tongue. Teeth not biting, but mouth closed. Shoulders relaxed. And keep watching to your breath. Feel the energy enter from your center of the palms if you have them open upwards. Let us now take deep breaths in, hold it there for 3 seconds, and slowly let it out. Let us do it for 3 times and from the nose. Please begin. 3, 2, 1, go. Breathing again. Breathing again. Please feel calm and relaxed and take your awareness to your feet or to the places that you're touching your ground with. Feel the soles of your legs. Wriggle your toes a bit. Move your ankles. Feel the calf muscle, the thighs, and ask the legs to soften and relax. Thank them for carrying you to the places of need and love since you started to walk on them. Straighten your lower back, your upper back, and relax your shoulders completely. Feel your hands on your lap and ask them to soften and relax. Thank them for enabling you to carry, touch, feel, give, receive, embrace, write, and so on. Move your awareness to your neck. Slightly flex it to find the right position for it and relax your neck. Move your tongue in the mouth. Slide your jaws left to right and relax. Take your thoughts and focus to your head and see if your mind is judging or distracted. Pause, recognize whatever it is doing, and realize by asking the mind to be still, clear, calm, and peaceful. Now take your awareness to your heart and see what the heart is doing. Pause, recognize if there are any agitation or negative feelings that it is holding at this point. Be aware and realize it, and just let it go and relax. Arise love, joy, and peace that has no boundary, expectations, but it is pure, humble, inclusive, and profound. Please bring your body, mind, and speech in perfect oneness and imagine your loved ones and send your heart along, wishing them acceptance, reasoning, love, joy, and peace. Wish them, may they be awakened from forgetfulness and transcend the path of worry, anxiety, sorrow, or unwholesome memories. Imagine you are sitting in a cave, in a cafeteria, drinking coffee with a friend. With very few people in the cave, there is calmness around and dense aroma of coffee. The indoor plants seem to swing with the music that is being played softly. You are engaged in a fruitful discussion with a friend. Suddenly, you hear the noise entering the cafeteria. Two old friends are arguing over something. They come and sit in a corner table, still arguing. None of them noticed you and your friend. They are busy with themselves. In between swearing breaths, they order coffee and continue discussing. They look at each other with a bitter feeling. It seems apparent. As they were your old friends, both of you quietly shifted to a corner table to eavesdrop what they were arguing about. It became apparent that they were not listening to one another. Their words for each other were becoming very harsh, and it was almost at the breaking end. You and your friend, as their friends, sitting there, realized that they were fighting on a contract which one of them had won. They generally celebrated each other's successes. It was the first time that they were fighting. It was always one of them who won who own in the bait the local contracts. You and your friend learned from the argument about a third contractor who they were referring to. You and your friend also knew this contractor who feared these two friends of yours and wanted to get rid of them from the market. The two arguing friends stood intending to hit each other. You and your friend jumped into the scene. They looked at each other and sat down, not knowing what was happening. Now you and your friend asked the fighting friends to talk, one after another. And what you told them is that when one speaks, we all listen. Without judgment, without evaluation, without assessment, we just listen. In a little while, listening to them, these two friends themselves understood the story. Incidentally, the fighting friends found themselves the game played by the third contractor. The problem was they did not want to listen to each other because the third party had used their weaknesses to bring blame to one another. They were only picking the dates and time to find the presence of each other in a particular location, which they confirmed to one another, but these two friends never asked each other why they were there at that particular time and place. The third party used this reasoning to prepare each of these friends of ours for a fight and breakup. He had cleverly told each of them, our two friends, with a twisted reason for bringing them in a particular location. So the two friends only confirmed the places they were at those specific times and broke into fight. They did not listen or reason each other because it was already caused to them by the third party. This would have made them swearing enemies. They forgave each other after they understood completely and came back to senses, hugged each other, thanked both of us for saving their relationship. If we do not entirely listen to one another and try to understand, we'll perennially make mistakes and suffer from our relationship, told one of the friends. With a big relief and laughter, all four left the cave. The owner, who they knew, was pleased and apologized them. Please bring back your awareness to your body. Take deep breath and slow. Open your eyes halfway. Massage them or rub them. Massage your legs. And gently open your eyes completely, filled with love and compassion. Thank you. So the last part, let us try and finish our song, singing our song. Let me blow it up. So again, here is the wish for all of you. May you be happy and well always. May you be free from fear and any danger. May you bring happiness to the lives you touch. May you bring unconditional love to others and be loved and cared for. May you always be successful and transcend into the journey of greatness. Thank you. Let's sing happiness song. 3, 2, 1, go. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, and I'm not in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but I'm not in a hurry. Thank you so much for listening to day 4, which is the 13th of August 2020. Tashi Delek, may all your time, wherever you are, be very auspicious. Thank you. Okay? Hello, friends.
Sir, actually, there are no questions from the live YouTube chat.
Okay. All
So,
right. So we can end if there's no question. But please, friends, please keep this intention. All these intentions that I'm working every day has a great meaning and purpose. So try to collect them and try and practice each intention for 21 days. Every day, try to make it 45 minutes. This is a practice and it'll transform. Also, mind you, any new thing, language, whether it's playing music, whether it is cooking, whether it is painting, art, singing, anything. If you practice every day 45 minutes for 21 days, I won't say that you'll perfect it, but I can tell you, you'll become very good, very good. Okay. The organizers, if you have any questions, we can, otherwise we can close it.
So there are some questions in the form actually.
Like?
Anvesa Banerjee, she wants to ask, sir, could you kindly elaborate on the concept of action and inaction and the kind of worry that comes with it?
The kind
For
of?
the kind of worry that comes with it. For
Action?
example, there is a question. For example, when we are affected by a cause, we worry about it, good worry, and we want to make a change. So we strive for the action. But at times we are advised not to act and let things run their own course. So how can we distinguish when worrying is a bad thing and when it is a good thing? And when should we act and when we shouldn't? It's the question.
Okay. That's a massive question. You see, when something goes wrong, there is a term called emergency. For example, a friend falls on the street or somebody is hit by a car. It's an emergency. As a human being, what would you do? If it is a COVID time that you are not prepared to go and touch or be near the person, what are the actions that you can take? You can quickly dial a number to call and say there is something that has happened. Call the police, because people out there are people who can help, who can come into action. So you're right, your intention must always be right. If your intentions are right, then your effort is going to be right. All right, so it is based on the intention. Now, when there is something happened and you worry about it. Now, worrying does not help anybody. You know, I know, we all know. Worry can only take you escalate your stress. It will start to block your energy level. It will start to defunction your cells. You start to get into greater pain and problems of yourself. So worry is not an answer. But if there is a worrying factor, you have to think, what are the actions that you can take and why should you take? Because as intelligent human beings, we can reason. And this is at a very high level, reasoning. Reasoning is just below love. So if you learn to reason, meaning reasoning has two aspects. One is right understanding and right thoughts. Both of these give you a best possible reasoning because the wisdom starts to work there. So if the reasoning says you do something, you do it. But if the outcome is not good, don't worry. Because if your intentions were right and your efforts were right, with the right reasoning, you did that, and things did not happen, then you should leave it to the greater good. You should leave it to the universe because there is something else that the universe wants to bring or to decide. All right? So it is beyond our purview of action because we cannot do anything. There are so many such examples. I think it was a Brazilian team or some team taking a flight and going somewhere. Of the 17 or 18 players, one was delayed because of the traffic jam. He could not go despite his good intention, he was stuck in a traffic for hours and he couldn't make to the airport. The plane took off and it crashed and everybody died. He was left. So there is always a reason behind why things don't happen when even despite your good efforts and intentions. Now, if this doesn't happen, there is always something for us in store by the universe. Okay, we should not blame, we should not get distorted, but we should believe in the bigger cause in the universe, because we are a part of the universe and the universe is in us. Mind you, it's in us and we are in the universe. So both, you need to realize this. Okay. Did I answer your question? I don't know if she's listening.
I don't know, sir, actually. She can't reply. Maybe she can reply through this YouTube comments.
Okay.
And
If she's,
Jay, yes.
If she's not satisfied with the answer, she can ask me again. We can talk.
Okay, sir.
Or she can even call me.
Yes. And Jaideep Das, he asks in the comment section that sometimes monotonous lectures in the classroom or in a seminar we feel bored. How can we motivate us for listening, or what we do at that moment?
Is he referring to the class teachings or any teachings?
I think he's referring to class lectures.
Yeah. Monotonous. You see, there are certain subjects that cannot be made interesting. Probably my subject is interesting because I make people practice and move and sing and things like that, and also bring the aspects of little wisdom in it. You see, why do you go to a class if it is very boring? The reason why you go to a class is because you want to learn. So the motivation there is to learn. Now, if you prepare your mind saying that I have to listen completely to learn because I'm here to learn, then it will not become monotonous. Everything will become very interesting because you will start to understand your teacher from his or her feet. You'll be stepping into their shoes and you'll understand the throw that they're making probably it's because they are limited to that. And they themselves feel, I'm doing the best. I'm giving the best. And if you can step into their shoes, you will never feel that they are monotonous or it's boring. You'll enjoy every lecture that you go to. Of course, if if it is only attendance, then why listen? If it is just attendance, then why listen? You blankly look at him and you start meditating. With your open eyes, you can also meditate. Look at somebody, but your mind is meditating. You can meditate the whole class. If you can pick up that subject that's being taught elsewhere, you can meditate that amount of time. It's going to bring much more relevant creativity in your mind. But if you have to learn, then you have to step into his or her shoes and try and focus from their perspective. Then you get awareness. Then you understand the person. And then you begin to listen better. And it will not become monotonous, my friend, anymore. But the moment you compare with any other teacher, good teacher, bad teacher, and all that, then you start to suffer. Or maybe you yourself is a good speaker and you find the other person very monotonous speaking, It is possible. So the comparative thing comes in mind and we begin to feel very boring. Nothing is boring. If you're learning is something that is to create a mind, to question, it's not about learning, but really challenging your mind to be a creative mind. And you can only become creative when you know the subject, of anything. So I hope you will now try to step into the shoe of the teacher and try to pick up from his perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anvesa Banerjee, she commented, she said, "Thank you, sir, for answering my question. It did help."
All right, great.
It
Wonderful.
helps.
Wonderful.
And just Jay Singhani, he was asking, "I have been learning a lot about effective communication, but find it difficult to practice the information I learn."
This is always the problem. Everyone faces this problem. But if you are motivated, you will definitely practice. How do you practice? You have to be aware. Like if you have an intention, like the intention we set today, keep that intention in your mind, my friend. Say that I intend to listen and not to reply. So anyone who speaks, just listen. Just try to listen without any thoughts, any judgment, any assessment, any evaluation. Just listen. And if you want to speak or you spoke few words, tell yourself, no, I have to learn to listen. Say sorry to the person. Continue, please. It's a question of practice. And it's practice, your term, your language, the words, everything is a practice. Listening and learning good words to speak is a practice. You only learn and put it as a knowledge. It remains as an information in your mind. It does not even translate into knowledge. Forget about translating into wisdom, because wisdom has a practice in it. So if you want to make what you learn in the communication skills, you need to practice, and that will take you to a higher ground in your life. And I congratulate you for telling me this, that you're learning the communication skills. In fact, it is the one of the only thing that can bring us into happiness. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. There are few questions in the form. Sushrita Sen, she asks, how to deal with people who always portray a distorted meaning of peace. They use it to run away from their responsibilities and deny the accountability of the mistakes they do. Secondly, please guide how the youth should deal with the social media trendy thoughts, quotes, and ideas. They use them as a weapon to prove they're always right. How to deal with such people who never admit their fault and rather make me feel guilty for the things they do. How to deal with such people who grasp everything they see or scroll through just to build a selfish mindset.
Well, this is again a question of practice. The problem starts when, if the person is responsible towards you or as a team, you're working, you're talking in a family, whatever. All right. So we're talking about someone who is trying to avoid their responsibility. If you're working in a team, If you do not have a win-win agreement to say this is your work, time-wise, this is how we divide, everyone deposits the work within this time, then of course there will always be a blame game. There will always be something. So you need to, if you're working, talking about a teamwork, then you need to assign work with timelines. And one needs to be the leader, the team leader, the coordinator. And you need to not only just be the leader, you need to constantly follow as a leader. Receive feedbacks and see where is the work. How far are you? You know, do you need any help? Not that you are promising to help, but you are asking. That's already a good amount of surge to bring into the person. Now, I don't know suppose if it is within the family who drop their responsibility and put everything, all the blame onto you. You see, truth can never be hidden. Truth will surface one day. How, if you lie once or if you avoid once, it's just that once. After a while, who suffers most is the person who is doing the avoidance. So if it is within the family and you're going to suffer because somebody drops their responsibility, then you can think about dividing that responsibility or taking up yourself, of course. But making it, announcing it, not just doing quietly. You must bring it forward. There are also people around, I have realized that, chalo theek hai, hum kar lete hain. And then that person comes back and takes the benefit or takes the credit for it. Wow, सेवा से उसको मिलेगा, आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. ठीक है? In ऐसी परिस्थिति में, what you need to do is you need to announce, not blame, announce. This work has been left, this work is unattended. You don't have to name anybody. This work is unattended, I'm doing it. Unless you do that, this person will continue to escape, and the escaping becomes so large that it will be beyond management. And everything will begin to fall onto you. So this is one way of addressing the issue, the problem. You're actually, the question is so vast, and just to generalize it and tell you becomes difficult. But I think what you want to say is that, someone drops the responsibility, and when you do the work, he or she again takes the credit for it. So for such a thing, this is how you can do. And if you're working in a team, I told you that you need to plan, you need to share responsibilities with timelines. You need to create a win-win situation for each one of you. Then only things can move. Okay, thank you. If I haven't answered her question, if it hasn't really fell in her heart, then she can call me. I can also talk to her on the phone.
Yes, sir. Sure. There are two questions in the form, sir, left. Souvik Mondal asks, during meditation, if I keep my mind absolutely blank, that is, think of nothing, will it be a correct method?
Well, it is it is not possible not to think, because what he is meaning is probably is meaning that thoughts no more bother him. But it cannot be blank. Thoughts will not bother you. Thoughts will always come, but they leave you because you are in such a high practice. You are almost entering into samadhi, the last stage of your practice of meditation. Keeping mind blank means there is no activity of the brain. So your brain is, even during the sleep, the brain processes. So if you are blocking that everything for a short period of time, it can be disastrous. Like getting into the water and closing your nose or not breathing for a certain period of time can bring disaster to yourself because your brain is going to blast. So I feel very good when you say this, but it is not the absence of thoughts. Thoughts will come, but you are capable now to keep your mind out of those thoughts. All right? So try this, my friend. Meditate, keep your mind, what you're talking about is, you sometimes is blank. Okay, blank. After a little while, say, are there thoughts in my mind? Try to talk to your mind. Many thoughts will suddenly arise because they are just coming and going, and not bothering you. Then you will realize that no thoughts are there, but I am being capable of letting the thoughts not bother me. That will be the finding that you will have. So don't worry about it, but try to find out if you are really creating total vacuum with no thoughts arising in your mind, like nothing, then for a long time it can be dangerous. But for a short time, you can perk to the bliss, to the enlightenment. You can just get into that bliss for a short period of time. But don't do it for a long period of time. If you realize that, no, it's true that my thoughts are not there, they don't come. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One last question from Snehlata. She says, Sir, you said that we should not let others' discriminating words enter our mind. If I don't accept what the other person said, I won't be sad. In order to do so, is it right if I say to myself that I am not wrong, I know this and that? Won't it make me boastful and arrogant?
No, not at all. Not at all. You are not doing that. The first thing is, you are not connecting with the person, and you're just accepting. Okay, what she's saying is her saying or he's saying. You're not accepting as a gift. That's her saying. Just smile and let it go. You don't have to change anything because you know you are right. You don't have to confirm in your mind saying I'm right and she's wrong. Then it's wrong. Just accept that her thought is her thought. She's right in her own way, and I'm right in my own way. That should be the thought, without bringing this comparison age, saying, oh, she's wrong and I'm right. I'm right, let her go. Whatever she talked doesn't matter to me. Then you are comparing, but you need to accept. She may be right from her own perspective. Like the second day, I talked about a mango tree. For a woodcutter, he will see when it dries, lot of wood to sell and earn money. The farmer will think, oh, I'll have great amount of mangoes to sell to earn money and raise my children. Oh, it gives a lot of shade for the grass to grow for my cows. See the perspective. A carpenter will say, wow, this is a great amount of wood for furniture for me. Now, can you say all of them are wrong? No, we cannot. So our perspectives vary. So no one is wrong and no one is right. So the first beautiful thing is, you need to accept the person's perspective. He thinks or she thinks is right for them, but it's not right for me. My perspective is this, fine, I live with my perspective. But don't say, oh, she's wrong and I'm right. I know I'm better than her. That's comparative and that's wrong. Okay? Thank you. I hope I explained you.
A wonderful answer. There are no questions, sir. I think we can end.
Okay, guys, a lot of love. Be well, be happy, be in. Always think about be loving others, loving yourself, and be in joy and peace all the time. All right? My blessings. Thank you so much. We'll meet again tomorrow. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, guys.